All right, welcome back to another episode of The Lies You Tell with Uncle T. Hey, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when new content is released. I'd like to thank all my subscribers and all my new subscribers. Thank you for your support. I've been out of it a little bit, dealing with this little sinus infection, but now Uncle T is back. He is back, ready to roll and pick up where I left off. But I'm gonna go ahead and knock these two lessons out. What we want to talk about, I want to finish up before we slid into November, was that I was still talking about domestic violence, and the thing is, what are some of the myths and truth about domestic violence in the LGBTQ community? It's that we know a lot about heterosexual domestic violence, but do we really know a lot about domestic violence in the LGBTQ community? Because a lot of times it's not even reported. It's give it in segments. And so a lot of times it's hard to get surveys and things of this nature as to the true numbers. But I'm gonna swing some. I'm gonna share something with you. And I was looking on the hrc.org, and they had some myths about the LGBT community and what was truth and what was not. And I wanted to start out first with, it says here that 1 in 4 LGBT people, 23%, have witnessed discriminatory or negative remarks against them, check this out, by healthcare workers. 90% of transgenders reported delays when seeking transitional related health care. So people are being discriminated not only in their community, but they're being discriminated amongst healthcare workers as well. And the first myth, let's talk about it. The first myth, it says domestic violence is mainly a straight issue and does not occur often in LGBTQ relationships. What do we know about that? The truth is, although many people believe that only straight women can be victims of domestic violence actually occurs in the LGBTQ relationships at similar or higher rates than in the general population. So now we debunk that. We know that there is domestic violence. The next myth, incidents of domestic violence are less severe. This is a myth. Less severe in the LGBTQ relationships than when it happens in straight relationships. What's the truth? The abuse experienced by LGBTQ individuals can be equally or more damaging. Studies have shown that gay men and bisexual women are more likely to experience severe physical violence than their straight counterparts, including being beaten, burned, and choked. The next myth, psychological violence, which includes name calling, insulting, humiliating, or attempting to monitor or control or threaten a partner, is not as serious as physical or sexual violence. What's the truth? The truth is, psychological violence can be as equally devastating form of abuse, in particular threats to out another person's sexual orientation or gender identity as a means of control are unique to the LGBTQ community, meaning that you're not out of the closet all the way, right? You're not out of the closet all the way. Somebody gonna out you. Somebody gonna tell. I'm gonna tell your people. I'm gonna tell your mom, your pops, your kin folks that you gay. You've been sleeping with me. Me and you been together. We had a relationship. because you don't want to do what I want you to do, I'm telling. The next myth: the more masculine, bigger, or stronger partner is typically the abuser. Is that true? The truth is that gender plays a significant role in perceiving and reporting instances of domestic violence. Many people gender the violence in LGBTQ relationships. For example, they may assume that the offender in the relationship is always a more masculine presenting partner, but however, domestic violence does not discriminate. It can impact or be perpetrated by any person, regardless of physical size or personal attributes. The next myth: it is easier for LGBTQ victims to leave abusive relationships than it is for their straight or married counterparts. Is that true? The truth is, LGBTQ relationships are just as legitimate as straight relationships, regardless of the gender identity or sexual orientation or marital status of two people in a relationship. Leaving an abusive partner is often a difficult and painful process, but in the LGBTQ community, relationships do not diminish the pain and suffering that they go through. And we still talking about domestic violence. This is the one I thought was very interesting because I learned a lot about, I'm straight. I'm a straight man. I'm doing domestic violence, but I wanted to cover heterosexual, same-sex relationships. And I wanted to get this information out there because there's a lot of people that just don't know. And when it comes to the LGBTQ community, I think we kind of shy away from that. Especially men. If I'm not gay or anything like that, men kind of shy away. Me, I've seen it all. Been all around the world, worked in and out of penitentiaries. I see this all the time. I see straight men visit their wife and their kids on Saturday and Sunday, and then when they leave, go back to the dorms and hug up with a man, have sex with a man. So I've seen it all. Nothing shocks me when it comes to the community. If I hear something, see something, I'm not shocked by it. Okay? But this one I thought was a little shocking. It says half of Black, Asian, minority, ethnic, LGBT people, 51% have experienced discrimination or poor treatment from others in their local LGBT community because of ethnicity. So they were discriminated against even in their own community. And you would think that everybody will be cool, everybody will be tight, that they will have that bond, that, we wouldn't let the outside discriminate, but you have discrimination within the group, it's just like African Americans. Everybody think that when you're African American that we all tight. No, we have discrimination even amongst ourselves in our own race. And so I can understand what they're saying. It says more than a third of LGBT staff have hidden that they are LGBT at work for fear of discrimination. People don't talk. People do their thing after work, but when they're on the job, they don't let you know that they're gay, lesbian, bisexual. A lot of them don't let you know because they know it may stop promotion. You may not get that job you wanted. You may not get that promotion that you were looking for. And it says almost half of LGBT disabled students, 47%, have been the target of negative comments or conduct from other students on the campus, on the college campus. More than a quarter of LGBT students, 28%, say they were excluded by other students because of who they were and what they represent. 2/3 or 64% of LGBTQ people had experienced violence, abuse while on campus. And this is what I thought was interesting. International. I said, wow, you got to be careful where you go. There are 70 countries that criminalize same-sex relationships. If you go somewhere to an international country, you got to be very careful that if you're same-sex partners, you got to be very careful when you go somewhere, because they're saying that in certain these 70 countries around the world, if they find out you're same sex, you're married same sex, it's possible you could get thrown in jail while you're in another country. They are very serious about this thing. They're not. This is not the United States, where we are. We are Rome. I always say that the United States is Rome. Eat, drink, and be merry. This is a place where you can have many gods. You can be whoever you want to be, represent who you want to be. We are modern day Rome. Okay? That's what I feel. I feel like the United States is modern day Rome. Now, this is some good information that if you are involved in a domestic violence relationship and they have the Anti-Violence Project, which serves people who are LGBTQ. The hotline number is 212-714-1141. The network La Red serves people who are LGBTQ, poly, and kink -BDSM. That number is 1-800-832-1901. And Forge, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, the Forge program serves transgender and gender non-conforming survivors of domestic and sexual violence, provides referrals to local counselors. That number is 414-559-2123. And let's see here, we also have the National Sexual Assault Hotline, which is 1-800-656-4673, which is 1-800-656-HOPE, HOPE. The LGBT National Helpline for Youth, because we got a lot of youth that are bisexual, gay, same-sex relationships. The hotline is 888-234-7243. And you can also do a online chat, which is at www.volunteerlogin.org. And that's VOLUNTEERLOGIN.org/chat/hyphen. And you also have the Gay Men's Domestic Violence Project Hotline, which is 1-800-832-1901. And the Northwest Network serves LGBT survivors of abuse, can provide local referrals, which is 206-568-7777. But I hope you learned something, that we learned the myths and the truth about the LGBTQ community, that they have domestic violence just like everybody else. A lot of people don't come forth. A lot of people don't tell the truth. They don't want anybody to know that they're involved in these type of relationships. But, hey, violence is violence. And if you're in those type of relationships, Uncle T is telling you, you need to get out. You need to get out. It's not worth losing your life. It's not worth getting beat down, losing your self-esteem, and losing who you are as a person. Until we meet again. Oh, by the way, the next video right after this one. So you need to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Hit that like, because the next one that I'm getting ready to produce is the Lesbian Partner Violence Fact Sheet. I'm going to tell you what states are the most violent for its domestic violence and the ones that are not. And that's coming up next. And this is Uncle T. I'll talk to you next time.